Okay, so thank you so much for joining me for these interview questions. So basically, the point of these type of questions is to show different variations of success and to
Okay.
let youth know that like you don't have to be an NBA player or NFL player. Like education is definitely like a viable option, to streamline your way into success. So
Okay.
today I have with me.
Hi, my name is Shomari Taylor, and I am an attorney working in the Maryland General Assembly. Formerly, I was an attorney in the Maryland Office of the Public Defender.
Yes, and that's where we met. Shamari is absolutely like brilliant. He's like
Oh,
so sweet. So we're just gonna hop straight into these questions. So
sure.
number one is please start by telling us where you grew up and what unique challenges you faced and how did they shape your perception of success?
Sure. So I was born in Baltimore, lived here until first grade, moved to Detroit, lived in Detroit, and then moved back to Baltimore for high school. And then went away for college, and then came back in about 2008, and I've been in Baltimore ever since. Um,
Great.
a- as far as challenges, honestly, I can't say my challenges were unique. Lived in the city all my life, so you had typical, city issues with some influences that may have tried to affect where I went. But what I can say is I had two very involved parents, and they
Mhm.
had advanced professional degrees. So I always had examples of success. They were
Great.
both doctors. My mom was a PhD in public health. So success for me has always been how I serve others and how I saw my parents serving others.
Right. Well, that's amazing. Kudos to your parents. That's phenomenal, actually. So number two is how do you personally define success? Has that definition evolved over time? And how has that definition been influenced by your culture, belief system, and professional experiences?
Sure. So, like I said, success for me has always been defined by my impact on others.
Mhm.
And I'll also say that living comfortably enough so that I can do that. So, a certain financial level of success that will allow me to have the most impact on others has been important to me.
Absolutely.
Um, and so, my culture growing up, I grew up in a Christian church, AME. My
Hmm.
mom was more religious than my dad. I kind of fell somewhere over in between. As I got older, I kind of moved more away from a religion and more towards kind of a philosophy of
Okay.
doing your best to help others and being being a positive role model.
Right.
Um, and you know, that's always been my career. As a kid, I was a camp counselor. And then after college, I was a teacher, and then I
Okay.
became a lawyer working in the public defender's office. So that's kind of always been, my path. And so,
Th-
um, yeah.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Number three, can you share a pivotal moment or experience in your journey that significantly shaped your definition of success? And I know you've alluded to that with the prior question. So,
Yeah. So it's hard to point to a specific pivotal moment.
hmm.
But what I can say, there's been a lot. And, from being a teacher in New York, seeing that moment when a kid understands or gets the concept that you're
Right.
teaching, when you haven't invested all of the students and you can tell that they're excited about learning. It's like those moments that give you a good feeling. Um,
Absolutely.
that have kind of said, you know what, this is what success for me looks like. As a lawyer, getting the not guilty verdict,
Yes.
seeing the family's reaction, knowing that their loved one is coming home, has
Yes.
another chance to succeed. Like that feeling lets me know that that's what success is for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Number four is since you've practiced in Baltimore, which is a city that's often like associated with a lot of socioeconomic challenges, What strategies or resources did you utilize to optimize your legal career here?
So I'd say my biggest strategy has been finding like-minded people.
Mhm.
Baltimore, in my opinion, is a rich city because of its people. From every neighborhood, people are invested. Everybody reps their neighborhood,
Yes.
and I think that like if you focus on that, like the people as opposed to, the bad things, litter,
Mhm.
crime, and you're optimistic about the future and you want to be a part of that. And so what I've done throughout my career is found people, with that mindset and who understand that, who love Baltimore and who want to
Excellent.
make it the best place possible for everyone.
Thank you. So your next question is, what advice would you share with others to help them gain access to opportunities for personal and professional growth?
So I would say to know yourself.
Mm,
Um,
that's important.
I'll say that was kind of one of my challenges is really knowing, what kind of career I wanted to go into. There was not a lot, but some pressure to go into the medical field. You just
Mm,
really got to know what you're good at, and that takes experimentation, trying out new things, not being afraid to leave something that's not working for you,
right.
and just be willing to branch out and to try new things. Um, and
Definitely.
so that's for personal. For professional growth is again reaching out to others in your profession,
Hmm.
accepting help when you receive it from others. That was one of my challenges is sometimes thinking you can do it all alone. Um,
Yes.
just accepting it from others when you can, giving it out when you can, and knowing who you are as a person and as a professional.
Definitely. I agree with that. So this is like not a question that's on here,
Mhm.
but based off of something that you just said. So like, was law always your top choice as a profession, or did you just fall into it?
Yeah, I kind of fell into it.
Oh,
After teaching, I loved it, but it wasn't like my best. It didn't utilize my best skills.
hmm.
And so, I saw other teachers around me that were a lot better. And, I wanted to see what else I could do to also have a larger impact, to understand the laws that lead to, a situation where a child doesn't receive a fair and appropriate public education. And so
Right.
that's kind of where I got into the law.
Okay.
Um, and then in law school, I really liked my criminal law courses, and the rest is history.
Yes, absolutely. So number six is, what challenges or obstacles did you encounter on your path to success, and how did you overcome them?
Uh, well, like I said, I was really blessed. My parents had obstacles. They grew up in the segregation South, but they, for the most part, shielded me from that. We always lived in the city, and I'm sure they struggled financially, um, but they really never let me, be
Yeah.
affected by that. Though they made sure I was acutely aware of, you know, everybody's struggles, and so
Mhm.
like always guided, my career path. And understanding, having that perspective has been so valuable to me as a
Yeah.
professional. I saw a lot of my colleagues in college, go off to big banks, not to, throw shade on people that go to make a lot of money.
Yeah.
That's completely fine. But you know, for me, it was always being in some type of service profession where I was helping others. And so, that doesn't really answer your questions. Like, I think my challenge has been just being comfortable in that
Mhm.
for myself, and that it doesn't have to be, make as much money as you possibly can to be happy. And once you let that go, I think that's where you find true growth and true happiness, personal happiness.
Yeah, totally agree. It's mainly like a quality of life
Yeah,
that,
right.
yeah, so I totally agree with that. Yeah, definitely. Number 7 is what role has mentorship played in your journey? And you kind of alluded to that in your previous answer.
Yeah.
So like, what role has it played in your journey, and how do you believe it contributes to success?
So people mentor, I've always been kind of like a quiet person that kept to myself and like, head straight. But
Yeah.
a district court judge approached me one day at like a law event and said, "Hey, just really informally and just talk to me like, hey, what are your professional goals? What do you want to do?"
Mm-hmm.
And just he was a judge, and so like just having someone like at that position
Mm-hmm.
reaching out to me saying, hey, like I see that potential,
Definitely.
how can I help you? And just being willing to accept that when you get that and taking advantage of it. That's important. Don't keep your eyes open for those opportunities.
Absolutely. And I just want to like interject and say, Shomari is being so modest. He was like a phenomenal attorney at the office. Like, so obviously, if a judge noticed you, like, you're definitely doing your thing. So I just wanted to like plug that in.
Thank you.
Um, you're welcome. So number 8, please share 3 tips for aspiring attorneys.
um, One, the law school you go to is important, but what's more important is the effort that you put into the law school experience, the classes you take, the people you associate with, the events you go to. That is as, or if not more important um, than the rank of the law school.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Two, do a clerkship. Um, Most judges have connections that they can hook you up with. Work hard in the clerkship and maintain those connections. The judge that I clerk for, I still, talk with, email every now and then, and
Okay.
he's still a resource. Number 3 is don't don't be scared to fail. Failure leads to more success, and so it's easy to get discouraged by not passing the bar or you know not doing well in a class. Like you can recover from that. It's not the end of the world, even if it is your first year of law school. Just keep your head down. Like I didn't have the best grades in law school,
Mm-hmm.
but I found what I loved, and I got to where I am now.
Absolutely. Okay, so this is like the second to last question. And
Mhm.
that is, how do you maintain a balance between personal and like your personal life and your professional life?
So that's a good question. Honestly, some people might disagree with me, but my personal is very interwoven with my professional life. And that's because I love what I do.
Right.
And, my profession is my passion. Like I don't feel like I work. You know,
Right.
I'm not in the public defender office anymore, but my
Mhm.
colleagues, I still keep in touch with them. My new job, my colleagues, we have a group chat. And I do have, personal time for family and friends, but I give out my cell phone. I would give out my cell phone to all my clients, um,
Mhm.
know them at a professional level. And look, if they have an issue later, they can always call me and they know that. Like I've gotten calls from clients 3 years after I represented them. And so
Wow.
it's not really a balance. It's kind of like an
Interesting.
intermeshing that makes, everything work for me. Some people say keep everything separate. Uh,
Mhm.
One, I can't do that because issues come up after 5 p.m. that need addressing. And
Right.
2, the professions I've always chosen have been such that, you know, I want the people I work with to meet my, friends outside of work because I love them both, and that's because I'm doing what I love. A lot of people will tell you something different, but for me, that's what's been successful.
Cool. Thank you. The last thing is there anything that you would like to share that we haven't gone over, or any advice or any last encouraging words to those who may see this?
Um, no, I'll just say what I kind of said before is know yourself. Don't be afraid to figure out who you are, to
Mhm.
figure out what your skills are, and to use those skills to do the most good in the world. Um, I think a lot of people, get stuck in a profession that they don't want to be in,
Yes.
because they're scared of a change, because they're scared of, trying something new.
Yep.
Don't be afraid of that. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's not a failure. That's something you learn. That's not for you. So that's, in a
Right.
way, a success. And
Mhm.
so that would be my advice.
Thanks, Shamari. I really, really appreciate this. I hope you have a great day, and
Yep.
I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you. Take care.
You too. Bye bye.